The Walking Dead final episode's death predictions, as The Walking Dead returns on Sunday, October 2nd, with the final 8 episodes of the main Walking Dead flagship show. And then it will be the Walking Dead spin-off universe, of course, with the Negan and Maggie Walking Dead Dead City spin-off show, the Daryl Dixon Europe show, and then, of course, next year around this time, the Rick Grimes and Michonne TV show. Just going to get my final death predictions. I know I've done a couple of these before, but it's like we've had 3 different seasons. Well, 2 and about to have 3. You had an initial 8 episodes, then a break, then another 8 episodes and a break, and now we're on our final break with 8 more episodes to come, and I figured I'd update the list. Now, before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to name all the characters that I think are in jeopardy of dying, and then I'll go back and definitively say who I think will die. Now, before I do that, though, it's pretty important. If you are caught up to the point where I am and you're watching The Walking Dead, which is up until episode 1117, then I highly suggest that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead and absolutely love this show, or for the most part love this show, don't forget to smash that like button. It does help out with the YouTube algorithm. Share the video with anybody that you want, or put this on any of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comments section about what your thoughts are. Whom do you think will die in the final 8 episodes of The Walking Dead? You can't kill everybody because they got so many goddamn spin-off shows, and they probably haven't even announced all the spin-off shows that they're going to do. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, you're watching the video anyway, so don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, and show your damn support. So, again, I'm going to name the characters that I think are most in jeopardy, and then I will definitively say who I think will die. This list is in no particular order, just in order of who I thought of in my head. So, Annie, Rosita, Gabriel, Aaron, Magna, Ezekiel, Elijah, Pamela Milton, Sebastian, Lance Hornsby, Rachel, Cindy, Virgil, Tommy, Diane, Scott, Jules, and Shira. So that's the list I thought of in my head. Now, a few of these characters are MIA. They might not even show up in the show again. I know Scott, for instance, Kenrick Green, who is married to the character that played Sasha, Sonequa Martin Green. Her parents both died at the beginning of 2021, and maybe he's just dealing with all that, and that's why we haven't seen Scott since, I believe, episode 1016 of Certain Doom. Maybe there's just too much going on with that, and we might not see Scott anymore. And then Cindy, it's been a while since we've seen Cindy from the Ocean Side. I don't know if she's going to show back up. She seemed like a very important character when she got introduced, but it seems like they've kind of phased her out and made Rachel the person at the Ocean Side. So I included them just because if they show up, I think they die. But let's go over who I think will be the most likely to die in this final season of The Walking Dead while I take a drink of water because my lips are dry already. All right. So I got to start off and say Annie's going to die. I know a lot of you won't like that, but do you really think Negan's going to have a happy family and live happily ever after? I don't think that's going to happen. I think Annie dies, and that's why Negan joins forces with Maggie. I'm not sure why they go to New York, but they're going to go to New York for some reason, and Annie's going to die. And Negan, unfortunately, isn't going to be able to see his child, whomever it will be. I think Annie dies before she even gives birth. Just my opinion, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it's just a hunch I have. So Annie, I think Annie is definitely going to die. Rosita. Rosita's a character that, in my opinion, hasn't really been written well on The Walking Dead. They did a lot with her in the second half of Season 7, but other than that, she's kind of been not necessarily a pointless character, but her character really doesn't do a lot. It's my opinion, and I think Rosita will die. She'll probably save Coco. It's just a hunch. Now, I think Rosita will die. And they're really, really foreshadowing that she's going to die. So maybe they're making it too obvious. If Rosita doesn't die, Gabriel will die, but I think actually because I think Rosita's going to die because there's just so much indicating that she will. I think Gabriel will die if she doesn't, but I'm going to go with Rosita right now. I don't think both of them are going to die, so that's why I'm not going to say Gabriel as well. So Rosita, unfortunately, I think she's going to be one of the big deaths at the end of season 11. Magna. They really haven't done a lot with Magna. I mean, she had the stuff in season 9 when she arrived at, she eventually got to Alexandria with Judith's help. I was going to say Judy's help. But really, other than a brief relationship with Humiko, well, she's been with Humiko for a while, or she had been with Humiko for a while, but we didn't really see a lot of that. They had a brief little fling together when she got in the show, and then it ended. And I really just don't think there's anything for Magna to do. It's like she's kind of a background character that we know we have a name for, and I think Magna's going to die. Now, I did talk to the actress that played Magna, Nadia Helker, at a convention, and she made it seem like that she's not going to die. I'm like, yeah, but your character doesn't do anything. And I'm trying to remember when I talked to her. It was about this time last year. So nothing, as far as these episodes go, had been filmed yet. So things could change. I thought she was going to die earlier in the season, but she didn't. So maybe I'm wrong and Magna does survive. But I think she's a character death that she can die. We'll know who she is. We'll be sad about it, but we're not going to riot and stop watching the show, the final 8 episodes, because she's going to be gone. So I do think Magna's going to die. Unfortunately, my nose keeps tickling. Next up, unfortunately, I don't want this to happen, but I think Ezekiel's going to die. I think he's going to get the, spoiler alert, the Rick Grimes comic book death, where he dies in like the episode before the finale, or maybe on the finale. And before he dies, he's going to give a really big speech, and then somehow, some way, he's going to get he's going to die. Especially, there's something fishy about the whole underground hospital thing that he has going on. Like, they just kind of threw that together to give him something to make people mad at him that are at the Commonwealth. And I think that's going to lead eventually to his death. And I hope I'm wrong, because I really like Ezekiel, but let's face it, he's outlived his comic book counterpart. I can't speak all of a sudden. And I just think that the writing's on the wall. Now, if Ezekiel doesn't die, then I would put Aaron in his place. So I think either Rosita or Gabriel will die, and I think Aaron or Ezekiel will die, but I'm going with Ezekiel. Next up, now this is a change. I don't think I've said this character before in any previous predictions, but I think Elijah's days are numbered. When he first got on The Walking Dead on season 10, episode 16, A Certain Doom, he seemed like a really badass character. And even in the bonus episode that he was shown in, that was at Home Sweet Home, 1017, he seemed cool. And he seemed like something he would do with Kelly. But he really hasn't done anything significant since then. He's not as cool anymore. He all of a sudden has formed this relationship that has basically been formed off screen with Lydia, and all things point to Elijah dying, especially since all Maggie's people have already died already. So he's the last man standing, so to speak. I don't want him to die, but I just think we're not really going to care if he dies, but we'll at least know who the character is. So that's why I think Elijah's going to die. And I should let you guys know, I don't know any spoilers as far as what I'm saying here. This is just all from watching trailers and all that. So that's where I'm basing this off of, and my knowledge on the Walking Dead universe. Next up, Lance Hornsby. Now, I could see a scenario where Lance Hornsby lives, and then he's the cause of the Dead City spinoff. But the likelihood of that happening with him being such a vicious character, especially if he does indeed slaughter a lot of the people at the Oceanside, there's no way they're going to let him live. They're going to kill him off, and I think Negan's going to be the one that kills Lance Hornsby. Possibly Carol, but I think Lance Hornsby will end up dying. Probably be the big villain of the final 8 episodes of The Walking Dead. One of them, at least. And then another character I think is going to die would be Tommy. Now, Tommy is Humiko's brother. He also helped Ezekiel with the underground hospital of sorts, and I think he's going to die simply to give us something to be sad about, and something for Humiko to be sad about as well. It's just a hunch. He might not die, but I think he's a character that doesn't really have that big of a role that he can die and we'll be upset about it because we know him by name. We know he's related to Himiko, and that's it. So I do think Tommy dies. I could be wrong, but just a hunch. Diane. I mean, come on. How many times can Diane survive? I thought for sure she would die. What was it, in season 10? I think it was season 10. She had there's this battle that was coming up, and then she started talking. Like, she had, like, consistent lines of dialogue for, like, 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, now she's really dying for sure. It might have been in A Certain Doom. I can't remember what episode it was, but I'm like, okay, for sure Diane's finally going to die. And yet, she still survives. But I do think Diane will die. Just a hunch. I could be wrong. I don't think a lot of people are going to care because I really don't think a lot of people know her name anyway. I just do because she's been on the show for so long. She's kind of like Scott, a background character that you know my name that really doesn't do a lot, but is a character that we will be upset with when they die. And then my final death prediction character would be Shira. Shira, of course, was the fake Stephanie that got close to Eugene, but was actually a spy for Lance Hornsby. And I do think she does indeed die. I think her and Carol duke it out, and I think Carol defeats Shira. So those are my final death predictions for the Walking Dead final episodes. I'm going to go over it one more time. Annie, Rosita, Magna, Ezekiel, Elijah, Lance Hornsby, Tommy, Diane, and Shira. Now, I have to put an asterisk. If Rosita doesn't die, Gabriel would die. And if Ezekiel doesn't die, Aaron will die. I'm kind of really torn between them two deaths. I don't know. I think one of those characters will die. I just don't know who it is. But, I mean, based on the trailer, I have to say Rosita's going to die. And I just think Ezekiel fits the whole end of the Walking Dead comic books, and maybe they won't even go that route. I mean, if they really want to continue, maybe they will continue the Walking Dead years down the road. Who knows? If that's the case, there might not be a lot of deaths. We only might get a couple, but I think there'll be more than what we've had as of late. It's just my opinion. Of course, all the characters that could be in grave danger, of course, Gabriel and Aaron, Pamela, Milton, Sebastian, Rachel, Cindy, Virgil, and Scott. And actually, you know what? I just realized I didn't highlight Sebastian. Does Sebastian die? I don't think Sebastian dies. He's a kid, and that would be wrong. Of course, he probably will die because he's really a pain in the ass. But those are the characters that I think are all in danger, and the ones that I talked about I think will die. So again, let me know your thoughts on these death predictions. I might be completely off, and if I'm off, well, whatever. If Carol dies, well, that would be certainly something interesting, and maybe she will. I mean, maybe they're keeping that really under wraps. I could see it happening, but I mean, with her all of a sudden not being in the Daryl spinoff show, it seems kind of fishy. And, you know, they've been changing things as they go with just the way of the world, so you never know. But let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button. It really does help out with this YouTube algorithm. Share the video with whomever you want. Put this video on your social media platforms. And last but certainly not least, please don't forget to hit that sub button. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and come back to watch my review of episode 1117, 1118 on October 2nd and October 3rd, and JDev will return.